Thanks for joining me once again down here on the foreshore. It's a chilly day. I've got high hopes for finding something awesome today. So thank you for joining me. Let's see what we can find. Can you see it before I do? Now that is a super bit of blue and white. Look at that, how gorgeous. You can see what appears to be two birds on there. Maybe they're pheasants or peacocks. But that is a really lovely, serendipitously broken piece of blue and white. I've spotted another bit of blue and white, a bit different this time, but let's take a look at this. There we go, a lovely piece of blue and white transfer wear. I've got a feeling that at the moment it's looking like a bit of a pottery day. Let's take a look at this. Now that looks like it may have once been a bit of tin glazed ware. The fabric's got that biscuity kind of feel. I'll pop that there. Bit of salt glazed stoneware, and there we go, a bit of pearlware with that feathered edge. So lots and lots of pottery around here. I just wanted to show you down here, you can see eroding out of the mud all this redware here, which I'm going to leave. I'm not going to interfere with any of this. I just wanted to show you how it's eroding out. See there? And all the way down there. And you can see where it's just eroding out. I've got some very friendly pigeons around here with me that keep following me. This chap in particular. Hi, my guy. Anyway, I just stopped to look at these two pieces of pottery here. This one, it's some kind of stoneware, I'd say Victorian. This piece is some English delftware. You can see the tin glaze there on the inside and on the outside. It looks like a pot lid, or is, oh hang on, it looks like it's got some kind of seating for a lid there, or maybe that is the lid. There's that, and I've seen quite a few little pieces of tin glaze around here, so I wonder if it might be a bit of a tin glaze day. So after last week's mega haul, what we're going to do is take it a bit slowly today. We're just going to have a really relaxing mooch around. I mean, if you saw last week's video, if you haven't, check it out. I had a bumper haul of medieval goodies and just loads of really cool metal bits. This week, I think, yeah, a bit of a relax, maybe a bit more pottery. I wouldn't mind finding some bigger stuff, actually. I've been finding really little things recently. Let's see what I can turn up. As I said, lots of tin glaze. Here's another piece. This time it's plain. Looks like it would have been a plate. And look, you can see there that really biscuity kind of fabric. The earthenware, that tin glazed earthenware was glazed on top of. It's really lovely tactile thing. That will come home with me. I know it seems like an insignificant piece in the grand scheme of things, but I do love tin glaze. Honestly, I will stop showing you this really plain tin glazed ware, but what is important about this piece is you can see here shapes. Possibly these were holes. It may have been a reticulated handle for a porringer, something like that. But you can see there, it's either a shape, the edge of something, or more likely these were holes in the fabric which have been glazed, so you can see they've been done on purpose. I'm going to take that one home too. We could be in luck down here. Let's have a look. I've just noticed the outline of a pipe ball. So let's see how much of it is there. Well, looks like the bowl is all there. And now I've got to do some careful extracting. With a bit of luck, it'll have a nice portion of pipe on it too. Kind of unlikely around here, but let's see. There's so much human traffic around here that I'll be pleasantly surprised. Okay, looking good. Doesn't look like it's decorated, but never mind. Okay. Oh, alright, it's not that long, but there we are. Nice 18th century pipe. It's a day for blue on white, and here we go. This is a really nice piece as well. More chinoiserie here. Sometimes it's the details that are the interesting things. Something down here has caught my eye, and in all honesty, I don't know what it is, but I've got a good feeling about it. Here it is. Looks like a little dish, doesn't it? Complete, but for this here. Now that I will double check with Richard. I'm not saying anything just yet, but I'm hoping that that is something pretty cool. I said I had a hunch about this little ceramic find, but first I wanted to check in with the go-to pottery guy, Richard Hemery. I deduced that this object was once used as a dish or shallow bowl in the grinding or melting of something, but what exactly? Cupellation. Ever heard of it? Cupellation is a refining process, a way of separating noble metals from base metals. This little ceramic find is, in fact, a post-medieval cupel, a vessel much like a crucible, but smaller and shallower, used in the smelting and separating of metals. Its definition in the Oxford English Dictionary: a shallow, porous container in which gold or silver can be refined or assayed. So this little dish, a cupel, was used in the process of cupellation, as well as assaying, to determine the content or quality of a metal or ore. Think jewellery making, and of course, the magical, mysterious world of alchemy. Cupels are porous and were often made of bone ash, which absorbed unwanted oxides. Now this ceramic cupel here has been made with some kind of redware. Richard told me to take a close look at the inside of the dish, as sometimes noble or base metals are left behind after firing. I can't see anything obvious here, but looking through my loupe, there are some traces of a silvery substance, just little flecks. Now, could that be silver? Whatever it is, I'm so pleased with this little slice of alchemical history. I don't know if you can guess why I've stopped here. I mean, it's pretty obvious, it's this thing. And the second question is, I don't know if you can guess what it is. You know I've got a bit of a thing for these. If I'm right, this is a huge piece of kiln furniture or kiln waste product, or it's just some leftover explosion from the kiln. It's salt glaze, and it would have been used in the firing of salt glazed pottery. There's another piece I can see over here. Here it is. There's a telltale sign on this, and it's that little base of an aperture there. I think that would have been a triangle that way maybe, but I think more than likely, I will double check with the legend Richard Hemery, that this was part of a sagar. I'm going to work on getting this out so we can have a look at it. But that, so far, is my find of the day. Believe it or not, because it looks pretty ugly and rotten, but it's a special thing. Now, obviously, if this is way too deep for me to dig out, because we're only permitted to dig to a certain depth, then I will leave it here. But that's a very cool thing. This is where I've got to so far. I'm going to give it a little bit more of a dig. Okay, there's the hole, so you know I've got it out. And you're going to think I'm crazy for this, but once it's cleaned up, you will maybe see why I'm taking it home. That is a brilliant piece of history. Off I went once again to consult the pottery maestro Richard Hemery. Honestly, I've never known anyone other than myself to be this excited about kiln supports, kiln furniture, and even kiln waste as Richard Hemery. Richard agreed with me that this enormous piece of stoneware is indeed some kind of kiln support for some kind of very large salt-glazed vessels. Looking carefully at the object, Richard could see clearly that curves are visible on two of its edges, and in fact you can see that it might even be a profile of whatever vessel was being fired, perhaps one or two stacked around the kiln support. Richard commented that manufacturers like Dalton were making huge 6-gallon vessels for industrial purposes, and that kind of vessel would fit well with the kind of shapes you can see here on my salt-glazed kiln support. Now I wondered if this large stoneware lump had drifted east, reaching this part of the foreshore directly from the Lambeth area, once home to large industrial potteries such as James Stiff & Son and Dalton. Before locating to the potteries in the 1950s, the embankment in the Lambeth area was home to a thriving pottery industry. In 1840, located over a 2-acre site, James Stiff & Son was one of the largest potteries in London. It employed 200 people, had 14 kilns, and even required its own riverside dock. Another world-famous pottery, Dalton, started life in London, with John Dalton once apprenticed to John Dwight's Fulham pottery. That's them of the salt-glazed pottery over in Fulham. We've touched on this place before. Now, once Dalton completed his apprenticeship with Dwight, he joined a small pottery in Vauxhall Walk, Lambeth, and he specialised in salt-glazed stoneware, making bottles, jugs and jars, and later this company expanded their business to making glazed sewer pipes. Dalton & Co. acquired a large pottery on the High Street in 1826. As demands for glazed pipes rose dramatically in the 1830s to 40s, they were now employing 12 staff working across 2 kilns at 28 Lambeth High Street. In the 1870s, Dalton & Co., now incredibly successful, built a new pottery complex, and by 1889 the company employed around 2,000 people in Lambeth. At the turn of the century, the company were awarded the Royal Warrant by King Edward VII, becoming Royal Dalton, as you probably have heard of them now. With all this success and historical importance, surely the site remains today? Well, no, thanks to World War II, it doesn't. The Dalton factory, with its prominent chimney and riverside location, was an easy target for the Nazis in the Second World War. Lambeth sustained heavy bombing, causing irreparable damage to the Dalton complex and the surrounding area. In 1952, the factory's A and B blocks were demolished, along with the chimney. This coincided with the British government bringing in clean air regulations in the 1950s, which meant closing the factory for good. And this is the point that Dalton & Co. moved production to the potteries in Staffordshire. So, is this ugly to some, but lovable to me, chunk of salt-glazed stoneware a direct link to the old potteries of Lambeth? Well, I don't know for sure, but I am willing to put a large wager on it, and that's why it's come home with me. Here's another spot to find for you. I'm going to zoom in slowly. Here we go. All right then, pipe bowl fans. Oh, not a great one. I will leave this here for someone else. Look, it's really warm. I'll pop it there for someone else. Just to explain, it's a bit of a tough day out here. I don't know if you can see how cold it is. Anyway, it's cold. It's not an exceptionally low tide today, and there's quite a lot of mud around covering everything, which is a bit tricky. However, we're doing okay. I'm really pleased with the find so far. I've just seen something down here. I've got my fingers crossed. It's a little thing. Let's turn the camera around and see if it is what I think it is. Piece of lead alloy just popped up. It's either a bit of heavily eroded button or it's a bit of cloth seal. So I'll stick to this spot and see if I can find any more goodies. Got a tasty little pin pile here, and I'm hoping that with some looking through, something nice and metallic will turn up. See these pins here? Tasty little pin pile. Letterpress. And what I might do when I'm home is just share with you some of these printed out. There was a guy who made a book about Thames type, and he took a load of type from a few of us mudlarks and printed out some art, I guess. Anyway, there's an O. Oh! Okay, over to another patch now, and a little piece of shimmery gold has caught my eye. Not that kind of gold, this kind of gold. There we go, a broken piece of pipe bowl. But we've got something nice on there. So I'll take that home and work out exactly what that is. Spotted a coin. Is this finally gonna be the break in modern coins? I don't think so. Oh, come on, coins, where are you? This one's broken, but you can see very clearly the seam here. How pretty that is. Really detailed foliate seam. Flip this bit of stuff up, and what have we got lurking down here? Another pipe. And this one has got some very clear maker's marks. TW. I'll see if I can find out who that maker is when I get home. Now, I don't normally go in for this, but I just flipped this over and it's more blue and white. So, as we seem to be going on a bit of a theme here today, Alright guys, well, thanks as ever for joining me, and I will see you again very soon. If you're new around here, please do subscribe. I love to have you along with me on these adventures. Until the next time, keep merry, stay safe.